So this season of Food Network Star has been interesting, to say the least. The winner has now been revealed, and a warm congratulations to Damaris. But I want to talk about the season as a whole, from the format to the contestants and even some of the events of the show. This year, the show went back to the old format for the most part, but there were a couple of differences in the format that I really didn't like. The first was I really didn't like Bob or Susie missing on the judging panel. Especially after some of the events that happened this season, I feel they need to be there. As much as I love Giada, Elton, and Bobby, I don't think they're really capable judges on their own. I like both the old format and the team format from last year, but the one thing I missed this year from the team format was the one-on-one mentorship. Each of the contestants last season progressed a lot more because they had that one-on-one mentorship, and I felt the contestants this season didn't really grow as much. I also really didn't like Star Salvation. Not that it existed per se, I actually like the idea of contestants fighting their way back into the competition, but the formatting was just wrong. First of all, there's more to being a Food Network star than just cooking, so having just a cooking competition to get back in seems a bit ridiculous. And sadly, this was perfectly demonstrated when Lovely returned and was immediately eliminated in the very same episode. But enough about the format, let's go to the contestants. Before I do that though, I kind of want to tell you where I'm coming from with some of my opinions. So I've seen Food Network Star since the end of season 5, and I've watched every episode since then. Overall, I feel the batch of contestants this year was unfortunately one of the weakest. And I think this may be due to the fact that they chose many of their finalists due to their appearance on other Food Network shows. I think 6 of the 12 had been on other shows before. Still, the contestants themselves I think were pretty fun, and I enjoyed watching them, even if I never believed many of them were Food Network star material. So I'm not going to go through every contestant, but I will go through some of the standouts. The first is the girl we all loved to hate, Danushka. I apologize to anyone who liked her, but I don't see how she made it as far as she did, let alone past the first episode. Or onto the show for that matter. My only guess is she was on there for like a drama type of factor, but honestly, I don't want that kind of drama on Food Network Star. If that type of drama is coming from a contestant on Food Network Star, I don't want that contestant to be the next Food Network star, so it just seems a little silly. I mean, her camera presence was terrible and her food was lackluster. From her obnoxious, apathetic voice to her emotionless expression, with the exception of chronic witch face, and yes, you may replace that W with a B, I have no idea how anyone saw a star in this girl. But there were other memorable contestants, such as Chris. I remembered him from when he was on Great Food Truck Race, a show that I'm so excited to come back this week. And I did like him, though I never felt he had enough passion or personality on camera. Another memorable contestant was Viet. He was one of my favorites coming into the competition due to Extreme Chef and Iron Chef America, but he just didn't really have what it took, at least not on time on camera. Then there was also Chad, the barbecue guy, and he was pretty darn cool. Probably eliminated a little bit early, but honestly, I want to get to the final 5. These are the ones I want to talk about because this is when the show took a really different turn. This was the point where the frontrunners began to fall. Now, I understand why the judges eliminated Nikki, due to her lack of food authority, but I honestly think it wasn't the wisest decision on their part. Nikki, hands down, had the best POV meat on the side. She had fabulous camera presence, and other contestants such as Rodney really didn't have much food authority either. Not to mention, her vlog was very similar to something she could do on the Food Network. The next week is when Stacy, my personal favorite, was eliminated. Again, I understand why she was eliminated. Elton was afraid that people would be unable to connect with her. But at the same time, the Food Network star poll was showing a very different story. She was second place on the poll and remained so even after being eliminated. Still, I did hear from those who actively hated her, saying she was very fake and conceited. And well, I can see where they come from. She can come across that way. Didn't really notice it till someone pointed it out, but it's sad. I just think her natural personality seems to come across fake at times, even though I think she is a genuinely sweet and humble person. And while her pitch may have been a bit sad, I think her idea for a show was one of the best, especially due to her personal connection with it. But now is time for the final three: Rodney, Damaris, and Russell. I had never thought I would see Rodney or Russell in the final three, but I mean, they did surprise me now and again throughout the competition. It just bugs me that neither Rodney nor Russell really grew as much as I hoped they would, unlike Damaris, who actually grew with each challenge. All three contestants were likable people with different strengths and weaknesses. So the first of the three eliminated was Russell. This culinary sinner had me interested since day one, but I quickly lost interest. He had quick shining moments here and there that always kept him in the competition. And let's face it, he needed them. He ended up in the bottom 2 or 3 at least 4 times. And then he would turn around and be on the top the next episode, so he was very inconsistent. I also feel his POV limits him. Not to mention, it's kind of a bit repetitive. I mean, bacon is essentially fat and salt. You don't need a separate category for it, but I'm just nitpicking. The runner-up was Rodney. He had a really fun personality, very likable, and I mean, who doesn't like pie? But honestly, the more I thought about his POV of pie style, the more I realized how limited it really was. There's not much he can do with that. I mean, I love the guy, but it's gonna get old fast. Not to mention his speech is still hard to understand at times, and his cooking was rarely good throughout the competition. Not to mention he was a little bit of a loose cannon at times, so it's not the best pick for the network. And finally, our winner, Damaris. She is a southern ball of adorable flirtatiousness. She was the one that really grew on me throughout the competition. I saw the judges' concerns about her flirtatiousness, but she really refined it well throughout the competition. I also love her show's concept. Some may see it as offensive, but I think it'll make for a really fresh new series on the network. So if you could guess, by the final three I was casting my vote for Damaris, seeing how Nikki and Stacy were already gone. Although I still loved Damaris as well. And although I know Rodney has a huge fan base, and many like Russell as well, I truly believe the final three should have been Nikki, Stacy, and Damaris. If Bob and Susie were on the judging panel this year, I feel like the final three might have been different. Still, after watching the three girls work together in the donut shop, what I wanted from this series was just to have a series with the three women working together. I feel it'd make a great show because the girls just complement each other so well. They can play off each other's strengths and weaknesses. They're sweet, sexy, and professional. But those are just my thoughts about the season, and you can bet I'll be tuning in when Damaris' new show, Eat, Date, Love, premieres. Until next time, take care.